must coordinate with our sheriffs, not go in and say, now save me. Now, you risked your life and career for me when I had nothing to do with it in the first place. I'm telling you right now, that's not how the constitutional sheriff works. And I started this, and I have the right to say that. Yes, sir.
What is a group of people here in Central Oregon do you think the best thing we can do is for them all?
Well, right now he's taking so much heat that he can't even see straight. And so, okay, what can we do for Sheriff Palmer? Okay, and I'm going to tell you right now, and I don't mean to be beating the CSPOA horn. Join the CSPOA. And we are raising money for him. And we were going to do a big rally, and the rally was going to cost like $20,000 because we were going to bring Sheriff Rogers and Sheriff Clark and Sheriff Finch and Sheriff Christopher and a few sheriffs from Utah and a couple from Idaho, and we were going to pay for all that. And we thought we need to go there and have this rally. And I've had a rally there for Sheriff Palmer before. And it was fantastic. I thought, well, we'll come and have all these constitutional sheriffs speak at a rally. Sheriff Palmer said, I'm asking you not to do that at this time. I said, Sheriff, we're here to help you and work with you and help you in any way. And he was still cussing some of the things that happened during that time. And somebody put him on the line, and it wasn't by his own choice. Right? And did he respect some of these guys? Yeah, absolutely. He talked to them. And so, yeah. I will tell you right now, we will keep you informed on all the efforts to help Sheriff Palmer. But all the other sheriffs too. And I'll tell you what, if Sheriff Rogers in Indiana gets in some trouble, we might be calling you to go out there with us too. But we will let you know, and we will keep this organized. And so we are looking for state and county representatives in the CSPOA. And we want you to contact us, and we want you to be involved in this process. We need a rep in every county in this country. Some places where the big counties are, we need more. And we need state reps, and we have one in Pennsylvania, we have one in Florida, we have one in Utah, we have one in Arizona, and a few other places, I think maybe a couple in Texas. We need 3,000 of those. And so, yeah, we need to cover all counties. We might even start covering cities. But we need your involvement in this, and we're going to make this thing happen, and we're going to make it bigger and better and faster right now. And it really depends on, you can look at your hands and say, it depends on me. The solution is in my hands. How much am I going to get involved? It's up to you. Can you imagine that freedom gets restored by how much you're involved? Working together with us. I've had some militia groups call me recently just, saying, well, we want you to come out here with us, and we're going to do this even bigger and better and more and worse this next time, and we're going to make it happen. I said, stand down and work with us, and don't be starting more trouble. Stand down. I said, are you listening? I said, we want to do this too, but we want it smart. And what does the Bible say? Harmless as doves, wise as serpents. And that's the approach we need to take, and we need to do that together. And we want you involved. And we want your emotion and your fire and your desire. And we want that control within. Wise as serpents, harmless as doves. Do not provoke violence. And do things that are smart and intelligent and that we've all agreed on. Okay? Just involve your sheriff. Open up the lines of communication. And we do this together. Not march in and then say, okay, come save me. Okay? Maggie.
We've come a long way, Richard, since the Founding Day Fathers Picnic 14 years ago in Reading. My question I have for you is, in my visits up to the jail, visiting with Ryan and Buddha and Jason Patrick and Sean Anderson, the one thing I think they would want me to ask you, because they're actually allowed to see some of the news, their question is, there is a person who's a representative down, let me get this right, Kanab, Utah, where the Boys Memorial Service was, who we just found, I guess he's Republican, he's a representative there.
we're all involved,
Yeah,
we're,
he was a BLM employee
Okay.
at the time.
now, well, if he was, it was very brief, and this is one of the best reps in all of Utah. And his son is a sheriff, and all the sheriffs are backing him. We're in the middle of it, we're on top of it. It doesn't, it's an interpretation problem. We've been going over and over it. We've been talking with, his name is Mike Noel. His son is the best constitutional sheriff in all of Utah. Beaver County, Utah, Cameron Noel. So just, are we on top of it? This is what we do full time. And this is what that's why we need you. And we're glad that you're involved in it, and we're glad that you know about this. But it's a law, it's a new legislative law that might go into effect in 3 years. And it creates an overseer of public land from Utah. And they're trying to push the feds out of the way, and Utah has already done it. Mike Noel supported this, and he supports constitutional sheriffs big time. Totally big time. He's been working with us on this. So we have been after him a little bit to get some of the wording changed just so it cannot be misinterpreted. But right now the language does not say that it supersedes the sheriff. All we want to do is add that he would be required to coordinate with the sheriff. And that would be a simple thing. And all the sheriffs are going to probably make that happen anyway. The 28 of the 29 sheriffs there are pretty solid. In fact, you want to move to the state as the best and most constitutional sheriff, that would be Utah. Okay? Yes, ma'am.
Did Rosa Parks and Martin Luther King consult with their sheriff before they participated in civil disobedience? And if they didn't, the sheriff still has a duty to protect them against recourse for disobeying stupid and unconstitutional laws.
You're right, and it would have been a lot better for the sheriff if he had, and it would have been a lot better for her. And I'm still saying what's best. And you'll notice what happened to Rosa Parks. I still say that. And we can learn from that mistake. She made a mistake. She should have told the sheriff, but she was talking to NAACP lawyers, and they all devised all that, and they never even once thought about going to the sheriff, which they should have done. But maybe at the time they knew their sheriff's not going to happen. In fact, the question was, Rosa Parks, the sheriff should have helped her whether he talked to her or not, or whether she talked to him or not. Very true. But the thing of it was, she would have been a lot better off had she talked to the sheriff. Had somebody gone to the sheriff and say, you know what, we got a lot of votes here, and we want you to protect us when we don't sit at the back of the bus. And we want you on the bus, and we will keep this peaceful, and we will vote for you, and we will support you. Maybe they could have got somewhere with that. But we're smart enough to make sure that we don't make that mistake again. And we use Rosa Parks. We use her story. It's very historical. It's powerful. We love it, you know. And and Victoria, we probably need to talk a little bit afterwards, because I don't know if you were there when I talked to Ammon or not. But Ammon, when he talked to me, we had a very stern conversation. And but I told him I loved him, and I do. I totally disagree with what he did.
He started a movement, though.
I don't know if he did or not.
He did for me.
Okay, well, I'm not saying it hasn't brought some good positive attention somewhere, but I believe we can get that attention through working together a little bit better.
I'm
And
informed now, though.
yeah, and I think it brought some real good attention to the Hammonds plight too.
Yeah.
You know, but they're not out, and that's what we want. Yes.
Will some of this donation go to help people like the Bundys and all those people who are in jail, who were really trying to help all of us citizens?
Yes, and we've been already spread so thin that we've been really having to take care of our donations. Ammon is a life member in the CSPOA. And I hope we raise enough to where I can send him back his life membership. And you can see on the form, that's several $100s. In fact, I'll tell you exactly what it was. It was $700. I don't have it right now, but I hope to get it. And I've already told people in our organization that I want to send that back to him to help him. So yes. Go ahead. Oh, did you already hear the question?
No.
Her question was, is some of this money going to go to Bundy's and other people like that? And like I said, Ammon is a life member of the CSPOA. He totally supports this. If they had had a constitutional sheriff in Bunkerville, it would have been an amazing situation. As it was, most of you might not know, but in this book, a deputy sheriff by the name of Tom Roberts interposed at the very most crucial, intense moment when the shooting was just getting ready to start and the order to kill the protesters had been announced. And Deputy Tom Roberts, by himself, stood in the way and stopped it. The power of one. And he won't even talk to us. He doesn't want to even get, but it was a good man who's not a constitutional deputy or constitutional sheriff, or it's one of the worst departments in the country. He was a good person doing the right thing at the right time. And it saved a lot of lives. So, to answer your question, yes, I intend to send that back to him. Only, do we really need the money? Yes. But I know he and his wife, Lisa, need it really bad right now. That's why. And like I said, he's a friend of mine. I have no idea who's first over here. Okay, ready? Members and supporters of ours, we've had about 5 who have attended our training. Okay? Well, good for you, Sheriff. Yeah. Well, one of them is retired, and that was Sheriff of Linden County, and that was Tim Mueller. Okay? But those sheriffs who wrote those letters to Tim Mueller is one of the first ones in the country. And he'd been to our training, and Tim and I were friends, and we actually hope to have Tim working with us in the future. And so, yes, we have a lot of work to do here in Oregon, obviously. Okay? And we've got to wrap this up, and I'm going to go with 2 more questions, and I saw this lady right here. Right. Which he should have done. And we were ready to back him up on that.
And if he did it, is there any way that somebody could charge him with, like a charge of treason or something?
Harboring a fugitive? But they're not a fugitive. If he had taken a legal action against them, he could have protected himself from that, just as I suggested to him. He wouldn't listen.
He used to be a BLM employee also.
So, actually, it was a guy with a similar name. We checked on that. Yeah, it wasn't him.
Okay.
But,
Because I know he can't be, for one, he was not elected to that position.
no, he wasn't. He was appointed.
And 2, if I'm correct, the state of Oregon doesn't have an impeachment clause.
I don't
So we
know.
can't toss him out of office. What could Hardin County do to get rid of him?
Well, we've already endorsed the new guy who's running against him, and that's Johnson. And I've met with him, and he's ready to roll. Okay? So, that's also what we do. That is what we do, okay? Last one.
As you know, God gave us this country, and speaking of the house of David and the man who holds the keys, who said, sacrifice and offering thou wouldest not, but a body hast thou prepared me, who died for our sins and restored the
Okay, what's your question?
blood of the grave. Well, the sacrifices have been back. They were gone for 2,000 years. Around the same time the temple was destroyed. They've been back since July 31st, 2009. The last 2 years, Israel, the house of Israel, has tried to scale the temple and sacrifice on top.
Okay.
This year, during Passover, they're going to try to do the same thing. In Matthew 24:15.
Okay, you're giving me a Sunday school lesson. I want a question.
This is it right here.
Okay?
When ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet, stand in the holy place. Whosoever readeth, let him understand. Now, is this not something that can bring all Christians together? It states Jesus told us to stand. And all other moral people as well. We can be the people that lead that.
That's exactly what I'm saying. I hope we are. We should. how many Christians do we have in this country, and yet what have we allowed to happen in this country? I mean, look at abortion, and that we even discuss such a heinous thing as partial birth abortion, and that we have a country based on life, and we don't protect it at its earliest and most innocent state. And I'm astonished that we have this. You know, this is an amazing, amazing dichotomy of what you bring up right there. Yeah. Okay, last one, right back here. Yes.
Yes, my name is Paul Romero, and my question is this. It seems to me,
And you're running for?
Congressional District 2.
Good job.
Yes, sir. I am constitutional conservative. I grew up here in Prineville. I'm currently living in Prineville.
Okay.
Anyway, very simply, it seems that the sheriffs here in the state of Oregon are required to get a certificate from the state for them to be a sheriff or have their authority.
No, I don't think it's to be a sheriff. It's to be a peace officer.
Well, the problem is, it seems that may actually hobble them in the performance of their sheriff duties.
Well, I've heard that excuse, and I'm going to tell you right now, I don't buy it at all.
Well, see, that's what I'm at.
And that's another really stretch of an excuse. And we don't support that excuse. We have other state sheriffs in some states that the legislature established the office, and they say, hey, they can get rid of me anytime they want. Let me see any state that tries to get rid of the sheriff, especially in the West. This is not going to happen out here. I admit there is an attack on the sheriff, and there's a good reason there's an attack on the office of sheriff. Because the feds and the others know they cannot control this guy, and that certificate you're talking about is one of the little pieces of control that they try to establish over sheriffs. So do they have to get that certificate? It's not to be sheriff, it's to be a certified peace officer, and they require that in about 50% of the sheriffs and states in this country, that you have to be a certified peace officer. In Arizona, anybody registered to vote, 18 years or older, can run for sheriff. I even had an 18-year-old run against me once. Okay? So that's what we also want to push, and that's where, again, you come in. But this movement will not stop because of that. Okay? And we will train those sheriffs that your oath of office is 10 times more important than that silly certificate. Okay, thank you. Appreciate you running. Okay, my dear friends, let me close real quickly. I will just simply tell you this. Back in 1983, when I was a rookie cop, I was converted to the Constitution. Ever since then, my life changed. I quit a job in Utah, moved home to Arizona, ran for sheriff, sued the federal government, lost my job over it, became a national activist, and became a crusader for freedom and liberty, and that's what's brought me to you. And when I was at that seminar, a stout, powerful, homely man by the name of Dr. W. Cleon Scalzo taught this class to 250 cops. 250 cops called them Constitution for Law Enforcement Officers. And during that 2-day seminar, I was converted, heart and soul, to the Constitution. And during that time, I took another oath, and I promised myself that I would never be on the wrong side again. And that led me to running for sheriff 5 years later in a different state. But where my wife and I were both from, in the community where my dad was an FBI agent, and where I had gone to school and lived most of my younger years. But this is what happened. I had an epiphany occur during this time, and he gets up, this frail man, with the power of God, gets up and has all 250 of us cops get up, and he teaches us a little kindergarten exercise. And I leave it with you tonight as my dedication to you, as my dedication to Justice Scalia and to Judge John Roll, who changed my life, who stood for what was right. And I dedicate it to your children and your grandchildren and my grandchildren. And my first grandchild was a girl. She was born on the 4th of July. 9 years ago, it'll be 10 years ago this July. And her name is Liberty. And I call her my little Libby. And I always tell her, everybody needs a little liberty. And we love you. And in her name, and in the share with you that little kindergarten exercise as the way I will close today. And it goes like this. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. And that's the eagle. Long may she be free.